Don't forget, the next video after this part has already been made and is live now on my Patreon for you to see straight after you've watched this. Fully voice acted, soundtracks, and with my signature editing up for early access to the incredible 3,000 plus patrons who support my work from just $3 with more and more access at higher tiers. This has long been requested to have the full next video early available to you guys who just can't wait for what happens next on Ultra Vegito. And now, it's finally here. Links are in the pinned comment and description, head there after the video. So our story continues with us seeing Vegito from behind, his back still covered by the haloed formation of merged Zamasu, after having just forcefully fused with the newly improved Goku Black. But slowly, as if powering down from this new mysterious form, the halo begins to gradually fade away as if being erased. And as our view changes to see Vegito from the front, Vegito continues to look into his now 4 time rings as the halo completely disappears, before letting out 4 rings. 3 with 2 of their lives intact, and 1 with only 1 life remaining. 7 lives in total, by my count. More than enough, but would have been 8 if I didn't give Hit 1 of them. Assassin, you better make good use of it. But suddenly, a sudden sharp pain strikes Vegito from within, instantly causing him to manually grab his head as if having just been sniped, as he wonders, my head! It's banging non-stop! What's going on? Oh! Soon though, the pain becomes so much that he breaks out into a cold sweat as his entire body begins slowly shutting down, his heart rate decreasing and his vision becoming delirious, as soon enough we take a peek into the inner mind and workings of Ultra Vegito. As immediately within the mind of Vegito, a battle is taking place, this time not between Goku and Vegeta, but now Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Instinct Black. As instantly both Goku and the newest member of the fusion, Vegito, are then both sent flying back from the impact of their trading punches. Black! What are you doing in here? Didn't Zeno get rid of you? I can't believe you're still using my body! Get out! But the now damaged Goku Black, having been annoyed already from being forced into Vegito against his will, just yells back, gladly! You do know this is the last place I'd like to be, mortal. Your freak of a fusion Vegito is who brought me here. So control him and get me back out. Huh? Vegeta? Goku, hearing this though, is as surprised as anyone, being less informed than even us manga readers, as he turns immediately to a folded-armed Vegeta for confirmation, asking, wait, is Black telling the truth? But why? And when did we even agree to that? I thought we said we'd both be in charge of Vegito equally. But a tense Vegeta, who appears to be biting his tongue holding back, can only remain silent and think to himself, even I don't know exactly what's going on now. And this isn't the first time. Kakarot's too dumb to realize, but for a while now, Vegito has been making decisions on his own, moving on his own volition as if he's his own person. I can't explain it, but given he's existed now uninterrupted for over 10 years, instead of the usual few minutes at a time he'd previously existed, I guess I'm not even that surprised. But either way, I'm not doing a thing about it until those gods pay and my Bulma is back. Eventually trying his best to not show his true thoughts, Vegeta puts on his natural facade, looking up to Goku, saying unbothered, "Why are you asking me if it's both our jobs, Kakarot? We probably agreed on it ages ago. You're just forgetful. You can't even remember your own age anymore, clown. Stop complaining and keep fighting. The more we train in here, the stronger Vegito will get." Goku, being his usual naive self, just smiles in return, trusting Vegeta, and responds, "Ha! You're probably right, Vegeta. We've been in here for so long. Plus, it doesn't help my memory when you're punching me every few hours. Besides, I was getting bored of just fighting you over and over again anyway. At least Black will be different." Immediately following this, Goku decides to stop playing around, entering his full power, mastered Ultra Instinct form. White silvery hair and all, and a look of determination in his eye to defeat Black, this time without the help of Vegeta. "Alright, Black, since you're a guest here, it's only right I greet you properly." The still annoyed Goku Black though just claps back, "You tasteless Saiyan. All you know is violence. You apes should have died a long time ago. But if you truly want to die now then, I accept!" As Black 2 then in response transforms himself into his own final mastered Ultra Instinct form, but noticeably without his halo, as if Vegito had taken it only for himself. But meanwhile on the outside, as if visualizing and listening in on what is going on, Vegito remains silent for a while until... "Hey! You three! Take it easy in there and get on, or I will end up killing all of you! Got it?" Unbelievably then striking himself on the temple and yelling out death threats to his own self within his own mind. It may seem on the outside like Vegito has well and truly lost his mind, but on the inside... Wait, did he just... These mortals are unbelievable. I knew I should have never joined with Kakarot! As all three of the separate warriors stand still, paralyzed in fear, with an awkward look of disbelief on their face as their very fusion talks down to them. With the three now shut up, Vegito then removes his hand and looks to the sky, smiling, before letting out cockily, "Much better. Finally some peace and quiet up there. Guess it's only right you'd fear Daddy Vegito, kids." Before reverting to a more serious face and thinking, "But after that battle with Kappa and those other two, I don't think I'd even have it in me right now. I better heal up and get some new clothes too. But maybe this time a little faster than before." And just like that, much like with what we witnessed with Goku Black last chapter, a time portal suddenly appears underneath the feet of Vegito, as Vegito just quickly then falls through it, with just his smirking face being the last image we see of him in Universe 6. The scene after this then shifts remarkably to what seems like Kami's lookout, but what seems in a distant past. As when we look near the hyperbolic time chamber, both Goku and a young Gohan are then seen walking towards the other Z-Fighters, fully dressed in their iconic outfits of the Cell Saga, but with some key differences in this alternate universe, being one that Goku is carrying a bag of senzu beans. Huh? Are they finally ready to go back in? As Vegeta, Piccolo and Trunks watch on, with the younger future Saiyan wondering whether Goku would take advantage of the few days left before the Cell games to become even stronger. But as Goku approaches future Trunks, he would then let out, "Alright guys, I think for the next few days, Gohan and I will just train out here. We've done all we can in there, and honestly, spending any more time in there wouldn't make much of a difference. So you guys make the most of it if you want to. Hopefully, one of you becomes even stronger than us." What? This reveal of course puzzling Gohan, having just heard his father speak to Korin earlier, telling him he didn't feel he was strong enough to beat Cell, as he asks, "Are you sure, Dad? How will we get any stronger in the next couple days?" To which the happy-go-lucky Goku would just place his hand behind his head with a big smile replying, well, to be honest, I haven't figured that part out just yet, Gohan. But what I do know is Chi-Chi's probably worried sick by now. We owe it to your mother. Okay, son? Huh? But suddenly, the happy-go-lucky attitude quickly fades, as the Super Saiyan Goku senses a nearby energy unlike anything else he's felt before, and much earlier than everyone else, as he thinks, Who is that? As from a time portal, a pair of very familiar feet then finally touch base on the lookouts. Who the? Huh? Who's that? This energy, it can't be! As eventually, the rest of the present Z fighters, Vegeta, Future Trunks and Piccolo, also then get caught up. And finally, Vegito walks out of the portal in full, much to the complete shock and silence of everyone who has no idea what is going on. Before Vegito, trying to cut the tension, lets out nonchalantly, "Well, hello, Z fighters. Don't mind me. I'm just another protector, hoping to take a crack at Cell. Just thought I'd pop down over here to see if you had any spare supplies. You know, ones from Bulma by any chance." As he slowly then walks past a frozen still Piccolo who can only think, "Bulma? How does this guy know her? Is he really on our side?" As Vegito, knowing the future, lets out briefly, "Try your best down there, Green Man. But maybe see if you can spend one more day in the time chamber, and maybe unlock a new form. An orange one, perhaps." Before finally, his feet tap against a specific and recognizable piece of armor, causing the God Killer to then look down and say, "Ah, here you are. Looks like there is a spare after all." Slowly picking it up without a fear of anyone stopping him, until Goku immediately gets into fighting stance, challenging Vegito saying, "Hey, stop right there. Tell us who you are. I'm not convinced you're just any Earthling, friend. There's something not right about you." To which Vegito with a smile, now holding the armor in his possession, replies, "What's with the hostility? From what I remember, you don't even want to fight in this. You want to fight in that orange gi, don't you? Like an Earthling. Isn't that right, Goku?" This instantly shocks Goku, as just like with Future Trunks, yet another complete stranger knows of him, as he queries, "You know my name too? Who are you?" The confusion of his younger self though just proves to amuse Vegito, as he replies, It probably wouldn't be wise to tell you something like that. Especially not with Trunks over there having meddled with time already. I tell you what though, you will learn everything in due time, Goku. Before in a flash that can be barely tracked by mortal's eyes, Vegito swipes his arm. And suddenly, even though the senzu beans appear for 1 second in Goku's hand, and even with Vegito appearing to not move right in front of Goku as they stand deadlocked, in the next moment... The senzu! The bag of beans is completely snatched, leaving Son Goku nothing short of shell-shocked from the sheer speed even after his year of training. Vegito, though, not caring in the slightest, and having got what he needed, just once again opened the time portal right beneath him, as he says in his final words to the Cell Game Z fighters, "Thanks for that. Good luck with Cell. Don't let me down, go on," before completely disappearing. In the aftermath, each and every one of the present Z fighters is left stunned in confusion and disbelief that just happened, being unable to explain things, with only Gohan wondering, Did he say not to let him down? Before, as the scene zooms out from Kami's lookout, only a deathly silence can be heard as they try to make sense of the situation and the mystery figure's final words. Meanwhile, back in Universe 6, Vegito is now placed on his Cell Saga Saiyan armor right on top of his tattered shirt. Now with the senzu beans in his left arm, as he says smugly with a smirk, "Perfect, just like I remember. That old girl sure knew how to make a set of armor. And now finally, I feel like a real Saiyan." Following this, Vegito then rummages through the senzu bean bag and finds 3 senzu, and deciding his power at this point is too much for just one, just instantly swallows all 3 in one. The effects are immediate though, and never having swallowed so many, even Vegito is left momentarily shocked as he mutters, "Oh no, my body!" As one by one Vegito's limbs bulge in size, and an aura begins to flux and surround his body as he yells until... "My body is stronger than ever!" As finally, a long overdue Zenkai boost from the multiple deaths and beating downs come to fruition, skyrocketing the Saiyan's power once again to untold heights. And with his body sorted out and surrounded once again in not only his overflowing ki, but his signature black lightning too, Vegito lifts out his hand and summons instantly his angel staff, of course formerly once owned by Whis, saying, "It's time. I'm ready for the final gods," before in classic fashion lifting it towards his face and yelling out, "Take me to the next god of destruction!" Instantly as expected, blasting off into the sky at mind-bending speed, as the staff inexplicably obeys every word of Vegito once again. And after a short while, Vegito would once again arrive in a new universe, on a planet that could only be mistaken for a destroyer's home. But this time, as Vegito looks out, 3 figures are already waiting for him, and crucially, for once, it includes the beings Vegito actually wanted to see. As it is finally revealed, standing there silently watching Vegito as if having anticipated his arrival, is God of Destruction of Universe 12, Giin, his larger-than-life angel attendant Martinu, and strangely, a bubbly-looking wizard next to him. Vegito, surprised to see both his future victims already available to him, sports a pleased expression as he lets out enthusiastically, "What's this? Do my eyes deceive me? Or is the God of Destruction and Angel of Universe 12 ready to meet me?" Now that's a well-needed change. Finally, I seem to have met two gods with a backbone who are ready to meet their demise. Before the more than relaxed Vegito, already knowing how this battle will go, just quickly breaks into a Goku-like stretch, calmly asking, "So what will it be? Who's up first on the chopping block? God or Angel? I guess preferably Angel first, so I can absorb him before I absorb you, Giin. But equally, you may as well attack me 2-on-1 too. It's not like the result will change." But surprisingly, in the face of the God Killer, hearing his confidence, the Destroyer Giin just laughs back at Vegito's audacity as he comments, "So it appears, all the rumors were true about your incessant arrogance. What a disrespectful specimen you are, Saiyan. Beerus may have dropped the ball hard, allowing your kind to survive, but I assure you, in Universe 12, things will not go the way you imagine." Before with his smile still apparent, Giin turns towards the bubbly-like figure and lets out, revealing his name. "Enough with the jokes from this fool. Ghibli, let us begin. Take us now to the true battlefield." Leaving Ghibli to simply reply, "Of course, Lord Giin. May you be blessed by the power of Zeno in your battle." And as Ghibli changes his expression to a grimace, he yells, "We shall see what you are really made of now, God Killer. Let's see how things go when the cards are in our favor." To which a pleased Martinu finally says, "Yes, let us see what this mortal can really do." Location change! Leaving Ghibli to finally unleash his spell that spreads an unknown and mysterious energy / magic all over the planet's surface. And before Vegito can even react, the whole battlefield and atmosphere completely changes, as if on an entirely new planet with new scenery. The confused Vegito, still looking around, would only then comment, "Well, that's new. Are we even still in Universe 12? Why the hell would they move me here? What the?" But as Vegito turns his head in front of him, something far more alarming and strange is sat right before him, as he comments mysteriously, "What's the deal with this place? And what is that? Some kind of new margin boo? Tch! And here I thought you were going to just fight me." As it is soon revealed, in the middle of the battlefield is a strange but intimidatingly large metal box. All alone, unmoving, and without a trace of sound, sitting right between Vegito and the 3 Universe 12 residents. But the supremely confident Giin, who watches on at Vegito's bemused reaction, then responds, "We will fight, Saiyan, just in due time. But first, as an esteemed guest in my universe, I have a welcoming gift for you." Before instantly, as if synchronized, all 3 of the divine beings then vanish away, much to Vegito's surprise, eventually arriving miles away atop a mountain head, as if distancing themselves away from a detonation. But Giin, looking down at the wizard Ghibli with then calmly, unknown to the ears of Vegito, say, "This will be far enough. Unleash him now, Ghibli. Let Gaiba out." And Ghibli, who at this point already has his arms up in anticipation, just replies, "Gladly, my lord. Before... release!" Before, in a sudden yell of pure conviction, Ghibli screams as if commanding the very box itself. So loud, Vegito hears him too. "What? What's that scrotum lookalike yelling about now?" As right in front of Vegito, dark pink smoke begins to bellow out from within the confines of the metal cube, until finally, in a loud crash, the walls and roof of the cube explode open, slamming individually onto the ground as if having been praying to have allowed to escape for millennia, as inside, a lone, somewhat unassuming figure is seen. The slam and sheer volume of smoke that escapes as a result is enough to even partially blind Vegito, who comments, "What now? I knew that box wasn't just for show, but what the hell is inside it? I'm free!" As from within, a young man with a vicious look, still confused over his sudden escape and freeing, looks around observing his surroundings. And once we get a full view, we see his fairly ordinary stature, just with notably both his arms being chained down still, despite the walls of the cube falling. But as we hear him talk, he reveals where he is even looking. And it isn't at Vegito, as he says, "Over there. There he is. There's that monster Giin." And just like that, without a second's more thought, Gaiba vanishes now, with now no more metal walls and seals to stop him, leaving the mysterious chains to clang behind on the ground. And breaching the gap with unfathomable speed, we see Gaiba rushing straight towards Giin, Martinu and Ghibli, his sights firmly aimed at the destroyer as he screams, "I'll kill you for what you did to them! This is for my family!" I thought we'd have at least a few minutes before he regained full control of his body. Leaving Giin looking unshocked before... I guess it can't be helped. As Giin then covers himself with both arms, ready to defend himself. And just moments later, Gaiba finally lands, effortlessly moving past Martinu to land straight on Jin's blocking arms, causing the destroyer to grimace in pain even after defending. But as Giin is sent flying away, he in his quick-thinking state, as if having already knew of this outcome, turns his head to Ghibli yelling with urgency, "Ghibli, what are you waiting for? Place the seal on him now!" Without a second in between, knowing the situation, Ghibli obeys his lord, firing off more of his mysterious magic straight onto Gaiba. And immediately, Gaiba is left frozen on the spot, shocked like a deer caught in headlights, his only words being muttered, "No, not again," before falling to his knees before the wizard helpless, then grabbing his head as he tries his best to mentally fight back whatever Ghibli has done to him, as he grumbles, "No, you're taking over my mind!" Revealing to us all, he appears to now be undergoing the same kind of attack Vegito once faced at the hands of Babidi in the Buu saga. And soon enough, a mysterious dark pink energy emanates from Gaiba's body. Just like the smoke that bellowed from the metal box earlier, and Gaiba rises to his feet, silent now, right before the completely confident and calm wizard, who lets out, "Yes, that's it, Gaiba. I'm glad you finally have learned your place again." As when Gaiba finally arises, stamped on his forehead is a mind control seal, just like the Margin M Vegeta, Spopovich, and Yamu once had, but this time in a strange G, named after Ghibli himself, or could it be after Gaiba? With Gaiba now calmed down, Giin suddenly appears once again right before the controlled Gaiba, and staring him straight in the face now, without fear and a smug mannerism, he whispers, "Yes, that's more like it, Gaiba. We are not your enemies. We are your family. We kept you alive all these years so you could one day avenge your family. Your enemy is him, that stranger before you, the killer of your entire clan. His name is Vegito." Vegito! But suddenly, as this piece of information is shared to the now extremely impressionable and malleable warrior, something deep within the recesses of his mind and soul snaps for Gaiba, as his body begins trembling until... Turning his head just like he did with Giin previously, Gaiba stares directly at Vegito, as if looking directly into his soul. Oh, here we go. Whatever that fish face has told him, he's probably made him think I'm the bad guy here. Well, so be it. If you don't want to use your common sense, then you can die because of it. As on Vegito finishing this thought, Gaiba rushes in once again with ferocity at Vegito. This time with even more power and speed, now coated in lightning. It's as if, just as with the Margin symbol, Gaiba's power has been amplified through the darkness and hatred in his heart. But Vegito is no fool, and having just observed what happened earlier with Giin, he immediately readies himself into fighting stance, thinking to himself, "This guy is no joke. Even that destroyer fears him, it seems. Better safe than sorry, I guess. I'll start with blue. After all, I didn't exactly get to use it much with black." But suddenly, just as Vegito begins powering up, a noticeable lack of any change happens, as Vegito wonders, What was that? Why isn't my body transforming? But as Vegito wonders why he suddenly has lost control of his abilities, Gaiba does not let up, landing his attack on the still confused Vegito right on his jaw, sending blood splattering everywhere. As Vegito is sent flying into the strange curved rock formations in front of him, mid-flight, he still wonders, something isn't right here. My body isn't responding how it should. I'm trying to transform even now. Before crash landing, hard as expected, deep into the mountain. But watching closely from afar, not letting up, is Gaiba, observing silently, until we zoom in on his face and his mouth and cheeks begin to fill up and expand, as a faint sound of rising energy can then be heard. as out of nowhere, Gaiba in Nappa and Broly-like fashion fires off a massive beam of energy straight from his mouth, sending the speeding beam shooting right towards the unassuming Vegito. As Vegito himself just barely gets up from the rubble of the last attack, grabbing his throbbing head as he moans. Damn, he hits hard. At least while I'm in base, that is. But why can't I transform? It's like my body isn't listening. Could it be that Babidi look-alike? But as soon as Vegito continues to think, yet again he is interrupted as his whole face and surrounding area begins to illuminate from the quickly appearing larger and larger attack from Gaiba. And as expected, in its quake, a humongous explosion is seen. One that would be far too much for just a base Vegito to be dealing with normally. As standing watching afar now, with his mouth smoking from being scorched by his own attack, is Gaiba, grunting in silence while his whole body looks noticeably much larger, as if growing in strength the more he attacks. But of course, despite the mysterious area holding Vegito back, he eventually fires straight right up from the smoke of the explosion. Furious in the face, and now damaged all over, including his brand new armor, Vegito emerges breathing heavily before yelling out, "You damn gods! What have you done to my powers?" But staring from below, still with his arms crossed, Giin would remark, "Foolish Saiyan. Isn't it obvious by now? We've studied and observed you damn Saiyans for a while now. We know how you work, how your power comes from these absurd transformations you have. Super Saiyan God and the such. You even have a specific God killer form. But that all ends here, doesn't it, Ghibli?" As Ghibli, providing more information, agrees with a smile, responding, "Yes, my lord. Just as you had planned with your infinite wisdom, I moved this unsuspecting fool to an entirely different dimension. One where I control the rules." Before Giin, now showing a truly demented expression, then explains finally, "You understand yet, God Killer? In this dimension, transformations are forbidden. None of this artificial boosting of your strength. Here, you fight and die as you were born. Strength and techniques only." Of course, hearing this now though, Vegito is left stunned. He'd never been to such a place before, and that was the last limitation he'd have expected, as he worries. "A dimension where I can't transform? So, I have to beat a god, an angel, and this freak in base?" But Giin, not wanting any more time to be wasted, like a slave driver, then points his finger to the god killer and yells, "Quickly, Gaiba! This is your chance! Avenge your family and slaughter this monster!" Leading the enraged and desperate Avenger to rush at Vegito like his life depended on it. Damn it! Vegito though, who is still recovering from the last attack, is almost scared at this point, and how the cards are stacked up against him, and mysteriously begins closing his eyes one by one until... In the nick of time, Vegito completely dodges the speeding attack. All the while, his eyes are both closed. and as if perfectly choreographed, then instantly begins swinging forward an open hand. Striking perfectly and precisely with an open palm, right onto Gaiba's exposed chest, sending the young Avenger flying backwards from the sky, until eventually regaining himself by dragging his feet all across the battlefield. But as we return to Vegito, he looks completely at peace, no longer scared nor full of overconfidence, as he remains with his eyes closed, silent until, with the briefest of remarks, he opens his mouth and says, "Fine. If transformations really are out of the question here, then I'll rely on the two techniques I know that will make up for them tenfold." Before out of nowhere, in an act of madness, Vegito begins powering up yet again, as if he had just forgotten that he had access to no more of his transformations. But regardless, somehow, someway, Vegito's power level begins to skyrocket, and mysteriously, his entire body then becomes enveloped in aura. A strange, red aura, as even his skin becomes crimson tinged, and one by one, his arms become bigger, his face more veiny, his chest larger, and then even his back grows to gigantic proportions. And in the end, when he finally opens his eyes, they look noticeably Ultra Instinct-like in fashion, but just this time, completely red. And surrounded in his crimson aura, he just confidently then lets out, "This is no form, but I call this Ultra Kaioken." What? Oh no! As one by one the god, angel and wizard react in their own horror and terror to the new power being displayed by the god killer, until finally, Ultra whatever, you will pay! As with the final word, Gaiba stares, still enraged and still not worried in the slightest. But that was it for today's video, guys. If you made it this far, leave me a hashtag UltraKai in the comments down below if you need to find out just how strong Vegeta will be using this new combination. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked and edited for you to enjoy with over 3,000 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.